Gautam Buddha always used to tell his disciples that our tongue is the sharpest knife in the world, and the most dangerous weapon in the world is our words, which can kill people from inside without any bloodshed. Our words are our strength, but it can also be a weakness if we do not know when, where, and how much to speak. If we use right words with right intention at right time, then it makes us a successful person. But if we do not use the right words with the right intention at the right time, then it can make our life worse than hell. So today I will tell you a story on silence, and this story is going to change your life. It is going to make you realize the power of silence. There was a very famous Buddhist monk in Japan named Ijai. He lived alone in the forest away from the noise of the world and was a very meditative person. Therefore, he was very famous all over Japan, and one day a prince came to him. "Dear Sadhu, I always feel tired, disappointed, and troubled. My mind remains very restless. Although I have everything, money, fame, and all the luxuries a person aspires to have, but still, it was so easy inside me." Then the sage said that on top of that, you know the answer to this, but you never searched for it. The sage said, "I want to do an experiment. Would you like to do that experiment? After this experiment, there will be no unrest and worry in your life." The prince was very upset after hearing all this, but he asked the sage to tell him what to do. "I am ready to do anything for my peace of mind." Then the monk replied in a calm voice, "For the next 10 days you will stay in my ashram and live like a normal person. And for these 10 days you will sit alone in silence and speak as little as possible." The prince agreed with the sage. On the first day he felt that his mind was more distracted than a normal person. Various types of questions were arising in his mind, and he was feeling uncomfortable in living life like ordinary people. He had a strong desire to speak, but he gave in and said nothing, not a word. But he sat quietly. But as the night wore on, he felt a great peace. This was very strange for him. He was feeling happy inside and was asking himself why the restlessness was decreasing. The next day, the prince was sitting alone, observing nature, flowers, plants, and birds flying in the sky. For the first time in his life, he was seeing how beautiful nature was around him. He could see and feel nature all around him. In this way, a week passed, and all the restlessness, all the turmoil in his mind, everything disappeared. On the morning of the 8th day, the prince's eyes started closing on their own, and he went into deep meditation. He closed his eyes, went into deep meditation. There was no worry. There was no disturbance in his mind. The prince started feeling deep peace within. After spending the remaining 2 days in deep meditation, the prince presents himself to a Buddhist monk. The prince said to the sage, "Dear sage, I have found the answer as to why my mind is so disturbed and restless." He said that he knew why my mind was so distracted and disturbed. Then he asked, "Tell me, what was the answer?" Rajkumar said that I used to talk excessively and waste energy on people all day long. Most of the time, they thought negatively about him. Thus my time was being wasted and my mind had become disturbed due to excessive talking and thinking. Because of this, I was not able to do any work well, due to which I started failing in almost every task. And the continuous failure made me more depressed and irritable, and it further destroyed my life. But these 10 days were completely different. Now it seems that I am living my life to the fullest. And before this, I was living my life wrongly. I also learned that we do not need to meditate. Meditation happens automatically, when we are still and silent. The first thing I learned in meditation is that the most important event in one's life is to know oneself. The Buddhist monk said that not only you, most people in the world speak more than necessary. Even today, most people speak only to degrade each other, and even today, people talk too much and ruin their lives. The monk explained the importance of being silent to the prince, and said that once the disciple asks Gautam Buddha that, "Dear Buddha, why do you remain silent most of the time?" Buddha remained silent and said, "I remain silent in death." Silence is the first step to knowing yourself. If you are not bored, then it is impossible to know yourself. The first step to knowing yourself is silence. Speak only as much as necessary and do not do their work without speaking and stop speaking. And you will find here that 90% of speaking is harmful. It would have been better if you did not speak. 90% of the problems will be reduced if people become a little quiet. Fights will be reduced, unrest will be reduced, throwing things will be reduced. If both of you learn to remain silent, then many problems in the world are created only by speaking. Everything is to remain silent. When you speak, then you are alone in solitude. You are standing in the crowd, in a crowded market. You do not speak. You have reached the peak of the Himalayas. The one who has Monty Black and Silver knows the art of staying alone, even in the crowd. He starts diving for his father. Man is also heaven in solitude. The presence of others creates restlessness. First hold silence with yourself, then let your energy come into mode. Let the mind come home. When you get agitated and disturbed by the presence of others, it is appropriate that you close your eyes and get lost in yourself. You will find freshness from there too, because the source of your life is hidden there. It is not in anyone else. But your roots are like yours. After all, who will take you within yourself? If there is no one, then I will have to go within myself. So go within yourself. That is the Supreme King. That is the source of life. From there, happiness is born. From there, you will drown in death. There your sun will rise, it will set again. Whenever you return after taking a dip, you will find it from there. Then you will be refreshed again. Then you will find the new wealth of life. Then a new power is born. Tiredness vanishes. Sadness vanishes. Worry vanishes. Just like when someone comes after taking a bath, the body becomes cool and calm. Similarly, when someone comes back from within, he returns after taking a bath in silence.